The MMA fortune teller, popping in once again, supplying you guys with the fight breakdown slash prediction video. This weekend we'll be doing UFC ESPN 2, Barboza versus Gaethje. Hell of a main event once again. This card, top to bottom, is a little bit better than last weekend's. But let's take a minute to talk about last weekend. UFC Fight Night 148. Wonder Boy completely drops the ball, cost us money. I mean, this was his fight to win, absolutely dominating the fight, picking Perez apart, and then drops his hands. And as I said, doing that, he drops the ball. Gets caught with a beautiful Superman right-hand hook from Perez. Props to Anthony Pettis, man. Going up to 170, getting a knockout victory with his hands, which, he doesn't always do. A lot of times he uses his legs to get knockout finishes, knockout TKO finishes. So props to him. But on a much more positive note, something very funny happened this past weekend. So, I don't talk about DraftKings that much, but I do usually throw a couple lineups out there every weekend. And, I do profit on there just as I do betting-wise. But how funny is this? Those of you that are familiar with Little Marley, he's the little cockboy that's featured on Half the Battle. By complete, utter chance, I get matched up with Little Marley just in a head-to-head matchup. And what do you think is going to happen, when you got the MMA fortune teller versus Little Marley, the little sidekick of Half the Battle? I absolutely dismantled him. If you guys check out my Instagram, you could see our lineups. This is a guy that is supposedly the DraftKings expert. This guy's getting flown out to Las Vegas to be featured in these DraftKings events. He's the sponsor boy for DraftKings. And, I accidentally get matched up with him and put that completely to rest. Just absolutely dismantled his lineup. He didn't know what he was doing. If you looked at the guys he picked, it was a horrible card that he put together, which just shows you what he's really doing, You look at my card, the best lineup you could have put together last weekend. And that's why my card beat his. And, just absolutely just pulled my pants down and just took a fucking dump right on his forehead. Just once again, squashing Half the Battle. Squashing Little Marley. That lineup over there, they got nothing for me. I'm the king of this fucking game, the MMA fortune teller. But moving along, let's take a look at this weekend's card. We got UFC ESPN 2, Barboza, Gaethje. As I said, a hell of a main event once again. Really looking forward to this fight. So let's take a look at the first fight of the night. We got Alex Perez fighting Mark De La Rosa. Two tough dudes. Alex Perez, I think he's going to pull this fight off. He's a good fighter. He's coming off a tough loss, but a loss in that to one of the best fighters that's ever graced the octagon, Joseph Benavidez. This guy is an absolute legend. And although he's never won gold, as I said, he's one of the greatest fighters that's ever been in the cage, man. Great dude, so no shame in that. And before that loss, he was putting wins together left and right. Beat some tough guys. Jose Torres, little shorty Torres. That was a hell of a fight. Great finish. Beat Eric Shelton. Eric Shelton's a tough dude, athletic dude, as we saw him get the win last weekend. And Mark De La Rosa, he's a good fighter too. Good record, 11-1. I just think that Perez is going to be the more athletic, quicker, stronger, bigger fighter. Overall, and Mark De La Rosa, gets coming off a split decision win against Joby Sanchez. He beat Elias Garcia by submission, rear naked choke. That was a decent win. But you see that, he's been finished by Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott's a solid guy, but Alex Perez at this point in their careers, he might be the better fighter himself. So, not that MMA math always works, but, there's some things to look at. Yeah, so we'll take Perez to win that fight. Moving on to the next fight, we got Sabina Mazo fighting out of Medellin, Colombia versus Mariana Moroz, the Iron Lady. Mariana Moroz, at one point in the game, I thought she had some promise, her first couple of fights in the UFC. But, after watching her for some time now, she definitely doesn't really have the sauce. She doesn't really bring it. She's kind of scared to engage. This fight I was kind of torn on. It can go either way. But I'm going to take the newcomer, the young 22-year-old little Colombiana. I'll take her to win this fight just due to her aggression. Next, we got Ray Borg coming back to the octagon after about, what, like 16, 17 months. Pretty long layoff. Fighting an up-and-comer in Casey Keeney. Really tough dude. LFA veteran. Dana White Contender Series veteran. Nice solid record. I think the line's off on this fight for sure. Although I do lean Borg. I think Borg will get it done. Just a more scrappy, quicker scrambler type of dude. I think, he's a tough fighter. And although he's coming off a tough loss for the title, I don't think that matters. I think Ray Borg's a really tough dude, and I think he's going to come back hungrier than ever, especially what's going on with the division now. He might see, an avenue to get back to title contention maybe a little quicker. Demetrius Johnson, he's gone. He went over to ONE FC. So, all that might have motivated him. Who knows? I that's what I see, I don't see that, he's coming off a loss and a long layoff and, he's done, he's throwing in the towel. I don't see that. So, the pick is Borg. But at the same time, as I said, the line is off. I wouldn't be parlaying this. I wouldn't be doing anything with this fight. On to the next. We got Kevin Holland versus Gerald Meerschaert. Kevin Holland, I like this guy's style, man. He likes to talk shit. If you saw the fight on Dana White's Contender Series, he might have took it a little bit overboard just because he wasn't really landing enough to match his shit talking. But if he would have stepped up the striking, then I love the level of shit talking he was doing in there. I love that type of stuff. I know some of you guys don't like that. I do like it. And this guy is an athletic kid with decent jiu-jitsu. Even though Thiago Santos was smashing him, throwing him around, man, he was very game in that fight. Fighting Gerald Meerschaert. This guy, crafty veteran, tough dude as well. Great jiu-jitsu. Maybe I wouldn't say great jiu-jitsu, good jiu-jitsu. He can pull off the submission win. Tough dude. He'll try to plant forward. He'll try to throw some heavy hands. He's a game opponent. Trains at a very nice camp over there with Rufus and all those guys. But I'll lean Kevin Holland just based off his athleticism. And I think he's just game. I think he's going to pull this victory off. Keeping it going, we got Kevin Aguilar versus Enrique Barzola. This fight, man, this is one of the main fights I'm looking forward to seeing on this card. Kevin Aguilar, he's going to pull this fight off. I think he's going to get a TKO or knockout. Heavy-handed dude. I've been watching him for quite some time. Another LFA guy that he was in the Contender Series. Great record. I think he needs to still make some enhancements in his game to really get to that next level. But as of right now, I think Enrique Barzola is not going to be able to control him on the mat and get the takedowns he's going to need. And Aguilar is going to keep it standing and tee off on the little Inca's head. So that should be a good fight to watch. Then we got Ross, the washed-up Pearson versus Desmond, the Predator Green. As you can see, one of my only orange highlighted picks, which means I'm one step up level more confident for this fight. I think Desmond Green definitely wins the decision on this fight. Ross, in my opinion, he's past his prime. And, I think the line's correct. Maybe it's a little high, but, I still think Desmond Green's going to win this fight. I think he's going to outstrike Ross on the feet, keep it standing, maybe mix in some elbows, some knees, and just, overall just dominate the fight. So I don't know how many more fights Ross has left in him either, so, We got two chicks that are going to be duking it out after this. Jessica Aguilar, Marina Rodriguez. Jessica Aguilar, this is another girl that people try to make it seem like she's a horrible fighter. And I disagree on that. She's not the best, but she's a game opponent. She comes through here and there. So, but that being said, I think Marina Rodriguez will win this fight. Tough Brazilian chick, undefeated, 10-0. I see her beating her. She's a little bit more athletic, not so stiff. Jessica's a little bit she fights like she's a statue, like a little robot. I don't like her style. She's been around forever. Hats off to Jessica, but I see her losing the decision tomorrow. Moving on to the next fight, man. This is one of the other fights I'm really looking forward to. Sadiq Youssef fighting Shaymin Moraes. This is going to be a hell of a fight, stand-up battle. This is one of my plays, guys. Sadiq Youssef, this guy, at this point in the game, even as green as he is, if, you put him in a stand-up battle, it's hard to pick against him, man. From what I've seen from this guy, And, the first time I really came across him before I started studying tape on him, the first fight I saw of his was that Contender Series fight versus Mike Davis. And he really surprised me. I had Mike Davis winning that fight. I was actually eyeing Mike Davis for some time. I thought he was going to come in and start cleaning everybody out. And Youssef just came in and completely spoiled the party. Excellent striking. Crisp, just fucking tough striking. Shaymin, he's just a little bit more wild of a striker. He has good striking in himself. And, he's a good fighter, but he has horrible cardio, which is another reason I'm taking Sodiq in this fight. He has two different avenues to win this fight. He might just straight up come out there and start Shaymin, or the longer this fight goes on, Sodiq Youssef's going to have the edge because Shaymin has horrible cardio. Remember I said that. Put that on the record. I'll look to fade Shaymin going into the future, especially against the right type of guys. But the pick is Sodiq Youssef. And, start cracking open your piggy bank on that fight. Then we got Paul Craig versus Kennedy and Shukoa. Not exactly how you pronounce that last name. Tough Nigerian dude, 6-0, kind of green, but shown some athleticism, some skills. Fighting a guy in Paul Craig who is just not a good fighter. He's a Hail Mary type of jiu-jitsu guy. You need that fluke submission off his back. A guy you do not want to have your money on at any point in time. A guy that I've been fortunate enough that I've stayed away from the beginning. Even when he was an undefeated fighter, you could see that it was completely inflated. It's tapping out a lot of scrubs. So the pick is Kennedy. I think he'll win a decision. Keep it standing. Outpoint Paul. Maybe he gets a finish. We'll see. Looking at these last 4 fights, not that bad, man. Not that bad. Some decent fights to look forward to. I think they're going to end up being some exciting type of fights, man. We'll get some finishes, some blood. Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Michelle Waterson. I'll cut right to the chase. I got a bet on Karolina. Tough chick. She only loses to the best of the best, and she brings it. She's coming off a tough knockout, but, against, in my opinion, one of the best women fighters out, Jessica Andrade. So, Karolina, I think she's going to get in Michelle's face. And from all the footage I was watching, Michelle does not like to get punched in the face. She's going to be on her back foot, running away, throwing an occasional little, upper thigh, hyperextension kick. And I don't think that's going to be enough. She'll throw an occasional, head kick or body kick. But I don't see Michelle being able to get this fight to the mat. Karolina's stuffed takedowns from way stronger, tougher girls. So she'll keep the fight standing. And I think she's going to pressure Michelle and bloody her up and just bring a pace that Michelle's not going to like. And she'll probably win a decision. Going out on a limb, maybe we'll see a TKO. Maybe Karolina can cut her open with some elbows. That'd be nice. See that little cute Asian girl get cut up. Make it an exciting fight. The pick is Karolina, though. We go on to Josh Emmett, Michael Johnson. This is a fight, I think, it's at 145. Two guys that have fought in that 155 before. Josh Emmett coming off a brutal finish. He got finished by Jeremy Stevens. We'll see how he comes back. Hopefully it doesn't mess with his psyche. Michael Johnson, a guy that you can't really trust with your money. Way too much of a hot and cold type of fighter. So just going to avoid this fight in a betting aspect. But Josh Emmett, I think he's going to pull this victory off. I think he's going to win this fight. On the line, they have it as a pick'em. So, if you want to take advantage of that, I would jump on Josh Emmett. Moving right along to the co-main event. I'm stoked for this fight. Jack Hermansson, this is a guy I've been watching for a long time. I'm a big fan of his. This guy, brutal ground and pound, just a tough-ass dude. He has that wild look in his eye, man. He's like a straight Viking. Definitely enjoy watching him fight. Against a guy, David Branch, that I feel is, he's a crafty veteran. Maybe a little overrated just because he put on that little streak in the World Series of fighting. He's really not that good of a UFC fighter. You see it, He get a win here and there, but he's not that solid. I think Jack Hermansson's the play. I think that he's going to get a finish, and even if he doesn't, it's going to be an exciting fight. Jack is a very exciting dude to watch, so looking forward to that. Speaking of exciting fights, we got Edson Barboza versus Justin the Highlight Gaethje. This fight, man, this has fight of the night written all over it. I see this fight going two ways. Either Barboza is going to land a nasty knee, head kick, something that's going to finish Gaethje off, or Gaethje's going to keep the fight close enough and put that pressure on Edson and break Edson, especially if he chooses to use his wrestling and his clinch game. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight, you know, and both these guys have two of the best leg kicks in the game, so really looking forward to seeing them smash shins together. I lean Edson Barboza. I was very torn on this fight. It can go either way. This is not a fight I'm betting on, but I just have a feeling that Edson's going to catch Justin with something. I think that Justin's going to give him some opportunities to land something. 5-round fight. I think Edson gets the finish. But like I said, who knows? It can go either way. So, so those are my fight picks. Those are my fight picks and predictions. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Like and subscribe, man. The channel's new, so I'm trying to get this thing going. I'm the best in the game out there, man. You guys got to help me blow up. Spread the word. Enjoy the weekend, you guys. Let's make some money while enjoying watching these fights. All right, guys. The Teller signing out.